Hello guys, welcome to this week's episode. So today's job, this is a bathroom that I'm currently fitting for somebody. So this morning's job is we're going to fit this windowsill to this window. We've panelled the bathroom. So what we need to do this morning is fit the windowsill. Now, because it's a bathroom, you'd normally fit a fake. It's a plastic windowsill normally, but I really don't like them. They look tacky. They look like they belong in a cheap bathroom. We're trying to make this look a really nice bathroom for the clients. So I prefer an MDF solid wood windowsill, basically. Once it's painted, looks really nice. It looks high end. So that's what we're going to do this morning. Before we start, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's subscribed to the channel so far. If you like what you see, please subscribe. It's a new channel. I do this for a living. It's something I've done for 10 years. A lot of people over the years have told me I should start spreading the knowledge that I've picked up over the 10 years, and that's what I'm trying to do. I genuinely enjoy teaching people new stuff. I like learning stuff with the trade. I'm always learning stuff. I'm not just a carpenter, I'm a general builder basically. I started out as a carpenter years ago, turned into a general builder. This is the sort of work I do, bathrooms and kitchens. So if you're learning something, drop us a comment. If there's something that you want to learn, again, drop us a comment and I'll try and see if we can do something where I can spread that knowledge if I've got the knowledge. So yeah, stick around and I'll show you how to fit a windowsill. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to find out what the end-to-end measurement is of the windowsill. So we've got a reveal and another reveal. So we want to make sure that we've cut our windowsill to size to fit that window reveal. Now, when you take a measurement, no wall is square, especially in the UK. Hard wall plaster is a bane of my life. Nowadays we've got dab plasterboards on and it's a lot better. We can get a nice square wall now, but old houses, just don't risk it. So we're going to go from at the back, because what we're going to do, the window is the only straight measurement in this window, in this gap that we can rely on. So what we're going to do, we're going to end to end at the back, not the front. So we've got a measurement of 1022. It's about 1024. We want to add for a couple of mil, just to ease it in. So 1022. So I tend to just scribble stuff down when I'm working. Just so it helps me remember stuff. Even if I don't have to look at the measurement, I've just written down. If I write it down, it gets stuck in my head. Just a tip. So we've got our measurement at the back. Now we're going to go at the front. Just to double check, see how far out these window reveal actually are. And there we go. So we've got a measurement of 1036. So you think we're about 12 mil out, 12 to 14 mil. It's 12 mil with a 2 mil extra just for easing it in. So we've got at the front it's 1036. That's why you can't rely on your window reveals being square. Now I tried to straighten the window reveals out, but the silicone, you can only build it up so far. So what we tend to do is we tend to make the windowsill fit the gap, and then find out we like with carpentry. We always fit square stuff into not so square spaces. We make it look right. So that's what the aim of the game is. So we're going to go off the back measurements. So it's 1022, and what we want to do, we're going to cut our windowsill roughly down to size. Now I like to leave a 50mm horn either side. That's what wraps around the front edges past the window reveal. if you go any smaller than that, it looks a little bit naff. So what I tend to do, 100mm on, which will bring you up to 1122. But we have got to allow for the 12mm variation at the front, otherwise you'll end up with a shorter horn one side. So I'm going to cut the windowsill that we've got to size down to around about 1150. That way we've got enough to mark where our walls are running out and scribe them in. So I'm going to cut the windowsill down size now to 1150. Right, so windowsill's cut down to size. Now, like I said in the previous clip, we've cut it down over size, so we're down to 1150. The back measurement, if you remember, is 1022. So what we're going to do, we're going to work from the centre out rather than from one end. You'll find this a lot with carpentry. You always work centre out. So half of 1150. Is 575. There. And then I'm just using the straight edge of my saw, because again, the only power saw that we're going to use on this is a router. This is all by hand, so this is something that a home DIY can do easily. So I'm just going to score the centre line. So that's at 575. So what we need to do now, we need to work centre outwards. So we've got, it's 1022 at the back, so we're going to need 512. Now, as you can see, I'm holding the tape measure on the 100mm mark, and I usually do this to get a more accurate reading. So 512, so rather than marking 512, we're going to mark 612 because I've already 100mm on. So 611, sorry, that's 611, which is 511. So we've done that there. 611 there. And we're going to mark it 100mm mark on the side measure. I'm going to check from end to end. 1022. So what we're going to do, we'll scribe them a straight line there. Straight line there. And now we've got our 2 points to work from. And like I mentioned, we always work from the back of a windowsill, because this is going to be the straightest edge against the window. The window is straight. So what we need to do now is find out where the window reveals are running out and by how much. Now the easiest way to do that is by using a sliding bevel. So this is going to be what we're going to use to find where the window reveal runs out, and this is what we can use to transfer how much to run out by on our lines. So I'm going to go and have a look at the window reveals now, and I'll show you how we use this to find out how far they're running out by. Okay, so what you want to start off by doing, loosening the nut. We're going to place this on the straight edge. Now on the PVC window there's like a slight lip, especially if they've had to use a spacer, but this is usually the external windowsill that the window sits on top of. So we want to go on top of that, and then what we're going to do, we're going to press the end of the bevel up against the window reveal, and then we're going to move the blade round until that sits flush against the back of the window and along the side of the window reveal, and then we'll lock that off. And that's our angle. So we're going to go handle at the back of the windowsill, and then we're going to butt the blade up to where the mark starts at the back of the windowsill. There we go. And then we're going to scribe the line where the blade is running. Now, as you can see, that's quite a big difference between our straight line that we marked with our straight edge and to where the window reveal actually runs out. So I'm going to do exactly the same for the other side now, and then what we're going to do, we're going to come back and then we're going to find where, if the angle changes, we're going round the wall, where the horn's going to wrap around. Sometimes it's not square, sometimes it is. Best to have a look, do it with the sliding bevel, just to make absolutely dead sure it is a 90 degree. So we'll do that. Okay, so as you can see, I'll put a mark here. So these are our straight lines that we marked with our straight edge. So I've been known to cut the wrong line. Both window reveals are running out. So this one's actually worse than that one. So this one's worse. This one's around about 7 or 8 mil, but this is definitely around about 10. And they're both splay out that way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use the bevel and find the angles at the front for the horns. Exactly the same process. So we're going to undo our thumb nut, and then we're going to put the inside edge of the bevel handle, and then we're going to pull the blade round so it's flush with the outside wall, and then we're going to lock that off. Sometimes you have to hold the blade against the wall just to stop it from moving, and that's how you find the angle where you're going to wrap around the wall with the horn. Right, so now we also need to know how far from the back of the window to the front of the wall we need to go from the back of the windowsill to where the horn's going to start. So again, we'll ignore this part here, which is the windowsill on the external of the building. We'll go from the back edge of the window, and that is 206. So what we're going to do is transfer that measurement onto the windowsill. This might be a little bit different, but we'll see. We'll have a look. Oh, that's the same. So 206 from the back of the windowsill along our lines that we've marked with our bevel, and that is where the horns are going to start. Okay, so 206 from the back of the windowsill, and we are going to use the hook on the back of the windowsill this time. 206. Right, so we've got our bevel set to my right hand side of the windowsill, of the window reveal, sorry. We're going to put the inside of the handle against our line that's running out, and then we're going to use the blade of the bevel to scribe our line for the horn. So I'll do that now. She's there. And then we're going to do for the opposite side as well. Okay, so as you can see, we've got both sides marked out. So, like I mentioned before, I like to leave a 50mm horn. So I'm just going to mark 50mm which is there. And I'll do the same this end as well, which is 5mm to spare there because it run out so bad. Right, and then what we're going to do, I'm going to use my roofing square just to square that line across. And same down this end. And now what we're going to do, we're going to cut both sides with the horns as well. And what we're going to do when we're using a saw, like in the architrave video, we're going to use a back cut. It's just something that you just do as a carpenter. And that's just to get us a really tight fit against the wall. So the saw, I'm going to angle it slightly over to my right. And it'll create a beveled cut at the back. And as I mentioned, we like a 50mm horn, so I'm just going to saw along about mark 50mm. So that's one side done. Maybe on to the next one. This one angles to the left. Okay, then what we're going to do now, same again, cut the horn size, so 50mm. So as you can see guys, just test fitting it now. And the methods I've used, I mean, it's nothing that I've reinvented. This is carpentry. I see some videos from like new build joiners and they're just ripping them down square, and that's fine, but when you're working in new build, if you're working in old houses, you just can't rely on the walls at all. So what I tend to do now I know it fits, is I'm going to carry the ball-nosed edge around the corner. Now it's a primed MDF windowsill, so it definitely needs painting, so we can route this end. Now if it was like a finished windowsill, what you'd have to do, what I'd do in that instance is I'd leave them square, but I'd put you can get some little plastic end caps that go on the ends, but I prefer just prime MDF. You can just route to the ball nose back on. So I'll show you how I do that, and then it's just a case of it just fixing it in. And as you can see, look how far out the walls run. I mean, this one's worse, but imagine if you cut that square, the gap that you'd have had. And so it's one of the ones, if you gap that much, you can't rely on decorator's cork, it will always sink. So best to do it right the first time round. So we'll get the ball nose on both horns routed in. Okay, so we're going to route the ball nose onto the end of the horns just to make the ball nose wrap around the horns. Just personal preference. Now I do this with a router, a round over bit, which is this one. Now this is like a little Katsu trimmer router. It was really cheap when I brought this, because I've got about 4 of these and I've got different profiles of bits set up in the router bits, in the router collets. I hate changing router bits. If I can get away without changing a router bit, I'll leave it in, and I'll rather pay 30 quid for a new trimmer, because that's all what they are, and leave the bit in there. Just how I do it. But this is the rounding over bit. So this is the rounding over router. So I'm going to round these edges off. Now you can do this with a bit of like an 80 grade grit, sandpaper and a block, and you just round them. I've seen people do that before. This is just my way of doing it. But you don't need a router to do this, that's what I'm trying to say. So windowsills, if you're a DIY and you're good with a handsaw, there is no reason why you can't do this sort of job. So I'm just going to round these over now. Okay, so we're going to fix it in now. So I'm going to use some grip fill. Now I used to absolutely detest this stuff. I just used to find it used to skin over it just come out skinned over, and yeah, it's the thing that you get taught to use. But I used to absolutely hate it. But I've actually fell back in love with it a little bit lately. I don't know why. Swapped over to inch to stick foam for a bit, but it's just cheap. It's £3.50 a tube, compared to like CT1 or Stixel. CT, when you're looking at like £12–13 a tube, probably even more than that now. So I just find it's good, and because it comes out quite stodgy. If you do need to level the windowsill at all, if the actual base of where the windowsill's going is out of level, you can actually build it up with this stuff. So and it will hold it while it goes off. So we're going to use this. So I'm just going to put some blobs. I'm going to leave it pop in a minute because it's a brand new tube. There we go. And what we want to do is just going to build them up. But if you're a professional yourself or a DIY, drop in the comments what adhesive do you use. Like I said, I used to absolutely hate this stuff, and I've gone back on it a bit now. But if there's anything better out there, I'm always up for trying stuff. It's probably a bit weird as well, but I actually love the smell of it as well. Which is probably not good for you. I've tried the solvent-free one, and that's god awful. So, got our windowsill with our rounded edges now. So we're just going to feed this in now, so that will fit in quite easily underneath the trims. Now I normally leave the trims out until I've done this, but I was in a bit of a rush yesterday. There we go. And that's it, job completed. And that's it guys, and that's the windowsill fitted. So I've showed you how to scribe them in, I've showed you how to cut them, round the edges off, how much of a horn that we need to leave, that I personally think, a lot of carpenters seem to agree, is an adequate horn. And I've showed you how to fix it in as well. Sometimes you have to pop a couple of screws in, just if there's nothing there, or the gap's just too big to build up. We've been quite lucky on this one. There's only been about 4 or 6 mil worth of gap between the bottom of the windowsill to where it's going. But we've built it with some grip fill. So if you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel as well guys. I'm going to try and aim for 1 video a week, showing you tips and tricks from someone who's been in the trade for 10 years. And still loving it as well. That's the main thing. I love what I do. I'm not just a carpenter anymore as well. So I started out as a carpenter, but this is my main bread and butter basically. I do kitchens and bathrooms. That's my speciality. So I'll show you all sorts. So not just carpentry. I'm going to aim for showing you bathroom fitting and kitchen fitting and everything else in between. But yeah, if you find you've got something for me, let me know in the comments. If there's something that you want to see and you want me to show you how to do, and if I've got the knowledge I feel is adequate to show you how to do it properly, I will. And I'm going to listen to you guys as much as me coming up with ideas for videos that I think you'd enjoy. So yeah, so get yourself down B&Q, get a handsaw, get some windowsill, and get fitting. There's been a few techniques with fitting a windowsill that you can apply to most things as well. So this is filmed on a Friday, so have a great weekend, guys. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. So thanks for tuning in.